Hey guys, Novo Bushido here. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing alright. And today we're gonna talk about the other updates that have come to Monster Hunter Wilds because some of them have actually been pretty good. Let's get into this. Now let's get the Duma stuff out of the way. You've already seen me talk about Title Update 1 and that I wasn't a fan. But what about the other parts of the Title Update? We had the Spring event, we had Rey Dau, and now we have the collab event with Akuma and other updates that have come along the way. So let's go through this, starting off with the Rey Dau event. Now I didn't get to fight Rey Dau too much, to be honest, as I was busy around that time, but I did have a couple days playing with the guys on stream and it was pretty fun actually. The Rey Dau, Arc-Tempered Rey Dau quest, we did that. I didn't get to do the challenge. I wasn't around when the challenge was going on, which is unfortunate, and I guess it leads into if these limited time events are good or not. I'm not a big fan of them. I wasn't a fan of World. I'm not a fan in this game. I prefer to be able to fight these monsters whenever I want. Event quests, challenges, whatever. But it is what it is. It's what the game has for us now. But apart from that, the fight itself was pretty good. Honestly, it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. I used a lance on my first hunt against the Arc-Tempered Rey Dau. And this was my first quest, I think, in like 2-3 weeks. And yeah, he kind of got destroyed, honestly. I didn't die, didn't faint. I think it was about, what, 15-minute hunt? It was pretty good. It was pretty good though. I wasn't expecting that much AoE. So for people who didn't like AoE back in Rise Break towards the end of the game, well, I think it's quite evident here that AoE is going to be a big thing when it comes to the latter portion of the monsters. And it was interesting that Rey Dau could use his extra lightning effects wherever he was, basically not limited just to his nest. It was literally everywhere, which did lead to some interesting dynamics where perfect pairing with the lance or probably other shield weapons isn't really useful, as having to block both hits and the timing for both would be kind of difficult. So instead, just hold guard and then get back right on him right after. So lance actually, to be honest, against Rey Dau is pretty easy. The only problem, I guess, is the chip damage, but obviously we just had Zolshia come out before that, so Zolshia's armor with the super recovery skill, or whatever it's called, is really useful, and then recovery speed is also really useful when fighting against the monster. Also guard level 3, decreasing the amount of chip damage you take when you get hit by some of his bigger moves. Now he did have one new move, I believe, the one where he kind of jumped into the air. That was pretty cool. It never really hit me, but I suppose on some certain weapons it would be more likely to hit you. Apart from that, I don't think I remember seeing any other new moves. There was a video I saw on Twitter where it showed the differences between the two, and you can see that Arc-Tempered Rey Dau moves much faster. He had less end lag on some of his moves, and sometimes it even looked like he was cancelling moves, like it was just, I don't know, ledge cancelling or something. This guy was throwing one move right into the other, which was pretty cool. A bit glitchy, but it is what it is. So overall, I'll say it's a pretty good hunt. I know some people were saying it's not hard enough. Some people were saying it's too hard. As an Arc-Tempered monster, I think it's a bit on the easy side when I think in comparison to Arc-Tempered Nergigante, how much of a menace that guy was. I know it was mainly just that one move, that really fast slam move, that was the menacing move. Apart from that, I don't think that fight was too crazy, but that move did make it crazy. In this hunt, there's not a particular move I would say that makes it crazy, but overall I think it's good. I think this does show going forward that Capcom are going to be listening to feedback on difficulty of the monsters and hopefully pushing them higher as we go further. I'm actually quite excited to see what the next one's going to be. Maybe it'll be Duna, who knows? We got Summer Games Fest coming up in a couple days, so maybe we'll find out there. The armor is pretty cool. Not the greatest armor set though. I never really played with it much, but I did get the armor set. It's pretty good though. And I do want to figure out a build around that as well. Now when it comes to multiplayer hunts, I did do multiplayer hunt, me and Shibs against him. I think we were both using longsword and I didn't die again. I don't really counter with the longsword unless I really feel like, you know, I want to. Most times I just kind of play old school ways and it was actually fine. Honestly, it wasn't too hard. So it's not just shield weapons that have a good time against Rey Dau. I think if you just position yourself correctly, you're just not going to get hit by these big AoEs. So I don't think he's that difficult, honestly, with a shield or without a shield. But I would like to fight him again, but unfortunately I can't fight him again, which is a shame, but it is what it is. So Rey Dau, I think out of 10, I'll give you a 7. Arc-Tempered Rey Dau gives a 7. Pretty good. Let's hope the next hunts are even better. Alright, on to the next thing. The spring event. I didn't do it at all. I was busy. Like I said, time events are kind of lame. Let's go to the next. Akuma. Now Akuma is pretty interesting. Now I had a discussion with Shibs over on the Smash Brothers podcast channel. Check that out if you want to go support us there. We had a bit of a disagreement around Akuma because I actually really liked Akuma. He didn't. If you want to check the reasons why, you check the video, you know. But for me, I thought it was pretty good. It was funny. The dialogue, okay, the dialogue was a bit cringy, but it was cringy in a funny way. How you really, they're taking Akuma one from Street Fighter and making him in this game as he's a menace to society, just coming here to throw hands against monsters and trying to teach us the way of, I don't know, a true hunter, which is pretty interesting. And to be honest, his style of hunting is literally what hunting is without the guild. Because I mean, day to day, we just go pick quests and go hunt monsters, you know, left, right, and center. We don't think about controlling the ecosystem and monsters being too strong and all this stuff. No, we don't care about that. I want to upgrade my armor, man. I want to make some new weapons. That's what I care about. That decorations, those talismans. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, Akuma put us back on the right path of the true hunter of the old school. So that was pretty cool. And he threw hands with us, which was kind of funny. And then going on to the quest, it was quite cool to actually do the quest against Ajarakan. I liked it quite a lot. His moveset, I haven't played with it too much yet. I've only done it in the quest itself, but it was really fun actually. I want to get the armor eventually and just play around more with it because it does really feel like a brand new weapon. I guess it's not really tied to a weapon, it's more tied to an item bar, which is a bit quirky, a bit weird, but it's still cool regardless. And it's really cool that as an offset attack and the super as well, giving finishes into a weapon, which is pretty cool. Now, I've heard it's not really meta, which I wasn't expecting it to be, but there are ways to make it stronger, which is cool. So I'm actually really excited to play with it more. I don't know when this event finishes, unfortunately. But you guys know what it is by now. Timed events are kind of sucky. I'd prefer just to be able to do it whenever I want. But I suppose in this instance, when it comes to Akuma, you can even see him randomly in different maps, apparently. Not apparently, I've seen videos of it. And it's pretty cool, even doing pull-ups in the over basin. It's great, with one arm as well. Guy's amazing. So I suppose that aspect would only work in timed events because they can't have Akuma just running about like endlessly forever, right? Have it timed for a certain period and then he goes and then maybe he'll come back again or maybe not. I actually don't know what they're planning to do with him. Hopefully he comes back eventually. But that's not all they've done. They also buffed up the monsters, which is actually pretty good. All of the apexes and gore now have an 8-star variation, which is pretty good. Honestly, the fights were interesting. I went through a stream with the guys and we were just going map to map to hunt new monsters, and I could definitely tell there's a lot more tempered monsters on the map, which is good. I don't want to fight level 3 Chachacabras, alright? I want to fight the big boys. Give me the 8-star, 5 difficulty star rating. I want to fight that, you know, but not Arkveld. I've had enough of Arkveld. So going about fighting these monsters were pretty good. But to be honest, the main menace was Gore. Gore is the beefy one, really strong, high HP. The quests actually take quite a while. Even some of the Doomers on my channel, they were actually really surprised and quite excited about the Gore fight, and they really enjoyed it. For me, it even took 23 minutes to fight Gore, dying about once, sometimes twice. It's actually quite fun having that length of a battle with something so difficult. If it was easy, and I think this really highlights itself when it comes to Gore because of his AI, because of his moveset and the damage he does, right? Because it's so good. When you make the fights longer, you're more likely to make mistakes. That way, you're more likely to heal, you're more likely to die, and you have to pay attention more often than not. And possibly take defensive skills or utility skills to make up for your deaths. So it's really interesting, this type of mechanic and way of dealing with monster fights. And it does give you a reason to want to fight with your friends, which is pretty cool. So I'm still looking forward to fight this monster with my friends. I've done it with people on stream, and I've done it myself quite a bit. The other apexes aren't too special. It's mostly Gore, I would say. They got the sweet spot when it comes to difficulty, which I'm really happy about. I want to see more of that, honestly, going forward. And I gotta get down to sub 20, man, honestly. I still don't use mantles. I don't know how much time using a mantle or meta builds will help me out with my timing on this quest. Also, I didn't take my palico, but you know what, with my palico, I think I could get below 20. Honestly, I think I could with the extra traps and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna give that a try. But there is a problem though, which once again does rear its head even more now than it did previously for me, is just getting the quest you want. Because I want to fight these 8-stars, guys. I want to fight 8-star apexes, 8-star Gore, forget Arkveld. That's what I want to fight. Unfortunately, I suppose with this new system, the core of it relies on investigations and you having investigations for the monsters you want to fight, or hopefully seeing a monster on the map to save your investigation or just fight on the spot. And that can be annoying because sometimes I just want to go up and fight a monster like I've been used to for the longest of times, honestly. But in this game, it's not really the case. If you want to fight a tempered Gore, or mostly tempered of any monster, you need an investigation, which is unfortunate. Hunting them down, going to sleep, waking up, sleeping, resting all the time just to find the quest, it's kind of long and a bit tedious. I don't really enjoy doing it, but it's how the game works. They also made it this way to further push into that online multiplayer facet of Monster Hunter, where they want you to play with other people. They want you to do SOSs. They want you to use other people's investigations for your own hunt, which is cool in theory, but for me, most of my hunting is done solo. So when you're a solo hunter, this doesn't really help you out too much, honestly. It's kind of a detriment to your experience in the game, because I would have a lot more fun just fighting the 8-star quests like time and time again, and it would be more enjoyable. Unfortunately, that's just not the case, because if I don't find them on the map, I don't find them on the map. And sometimes you do find the level 5 difficulty gore and it's a 7-star quest rather than an 8-star quest, and it's like, well, finding the right monster with the right difficulty is still kind of a pain. I don't want to fight all these other monsters. I fought enough of them. I just want to fight what I want to fight, but the game unfortunately isn't built in a way to allow you to do that unless you're willing to just fight with randoms, and as I've already said, I don't want to do that. So I suppose it's back to the resting, sleeping mechanic until I can find what I need and to save as much as I can get. I'll just do that for now. But coming back to the difficulty thing before we end up, it's cool that they've been listening and adding in more to the monsters to make them stronger and make them more enjoyable to fight against. I suppose my issue is now, I've kind of already fought these monsters so much already. Definitely the Apexes more than Gore, but Apexes, Arkveld, I fought them so much that now fighting these harder type monsters without getting more rewards or anything extra, it kind of feels like more of the same, as I've already gone through the process of fighting these monsters constantly already. So how much am I really getting out of it? Not too much, to be honest. I would have hoped they did add some reward system tied to these harder quests, or it would have been nice if it was the way from the get-go, right? And doing these harder quests give you more chances of getting better reward. But to be honest, the reward system in the newer games are quite generous anyway compared to the older games. So it's a bit hard, I suppose, on Capcom's side to really pinpoint how to handle harder quests with rewards, since basically even the basic quests you can get gems, plates, whatever. So having a balance of more rewards tied to harder quests is kind of difficult to implement unless they strip out that aspect of the game they've added in this game. And they also did a lot of back in world as well. So I don't know what they're going to do there. We have to wait and find out to see what they do when they come out with this new reward system that they said is going to be coming. And I think that's in Title Update 2. So we don't know much about Title Update 2, but I'm kind of hopeful to see what they're going to give to us. Let's see what Laggy has. Let's see what else they're going to cook in that Title Update. The updates I've seen so far were pretty good, apart from Title Update 1 and that spring event. I didn't get to play it. I wasn't around, so it's too bad. Anyway, guys, this is it for me. Let me know down below what you think about the updates. Have you enjoyed them? Have you not? Anything that Capcom could have done better? And what's your fastest time on Gore? Let me know. If I'm a scrub and I need training, let me know. I'll get back to the training room eventually and I'm going to beat his ass. So guys, I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.